Hey guys, I know I have been missing in action a little bit, but I wanted to give you guys some observations after being in the United States for a couple of months, after being overseas for over 6 years, and I started traveling there 11 years ago. I guess I can give an educated comment on the differences between life in the United States versus elsewhere. Now, this may be helpful for those of you who are considering moving overseas because I've seen many people be very excited about that possibility, and I've seen them return as well. I am temporarily here in the United States to handle some visa situations as well as work opportunities. So I'm going to get right to it as someone who's been there, done that. I chose a country to live in permanently, which is Spain. And I'm going to share with you my top observations on the differences between United States and other countries. I think one of the things that I love about Spain is that life seems to revolve more around people and not necessarily work. Now, I'm not saying that work isn't important. Spaniards work very hard. They don't work for a lot. I know a lot of friends that make between 1,000 to 1,200 euros a month, which is about 1,200 to $1,500. That's it for the month. And they are working 40 hours a week. But there's still this sort of joy for living where getting together with friends is not scheduled. It's sort of like, hey, I'm going for tapas right now. I'm going for a glass of wine. You want to meet up 20 minutes before the case. So there's more connection instead of revolving our whole lives around our work schedule, basically. Number two, something else that I was thinking about is that meals overseas are social events. They are social events. Do not expect to see a friend for 20, 30 minutes. It's not going to happen. It's more like 1 or 2 hours. Waiters overseas are different. They're not as friendly, but at the same time, they're not working for tips. They are getting a salary. They are getting a normal work compensation. They are not working for tips. So at the same time, you're not going to get this overly friendly service because overseas they look at it as here's your food, enjoy your privacy. I've heard a lot of people from the United States complain about that. Let's see. Overseas friendships develop slower. I have heard things like they're not so friendly here, but they take more time to get to know you. So while in the United States it's perfectly fine for us to, talk to strangers, make conversation, overseas they're a little bit more reserved. They're a little bit more reserved. It takes time to get to know them, but once you do, people are very loyal, they're very good friends, they're with you. They'll take the shirt off their backs to help you. Friendships are very long lasting and loyal overseas. Now, I did notice the other day, I said to somebody, I'm going to get, a decaf, I'm going to get a coffee. Would you like one? And no. And then I asked somebody else, hey, I'm just on my way to get a coffee. Now, in Spain, this is very normal. People fight to buy you coffee. They're like, it's my turn to buy. No, I got it. I already paid for it. It's like an argument who buys the coffee first. Whereas here in the US, I kind of feel like relationships are more distant and a little bit more transactional. So, for example, somebody might think, I can't accept this coffee. I've done nothing to earn it. Or if Elaine gets me coffee, I may have to buy coffee later. It's more of a transactional mentality instead of just, hey, I'm just offering a cup of coffee because I'm friendly and I want to join this moment with you. But it's just a very different mentality out here in the US. Personal space is different. So in Spain, it's very common to be greeted with two kisses and people stand closer, hug closer, whereas in the United States, people prefer a little bit more physical space. It's just the nature of two totally different cultures. In Spain, conversations are more direct. So I noticed this whole political correctness mostly happens in the US. You don't want to offend anybody, but it's impossible to have a conversation, a full open conversation, without offending somebody somewhere. The Spaniards are known for having a very direct way of speaking. They're not always politically correct. I've been told to my face by an immigration lawyer, you're going to be fine because you don't look so native. And when I share that comment with some of my other Latin American friends, they're like, oh my God, that's such a racist comment. And there is a lack of political correctness. They're going to tell you to your face that how they feel about you. It can be hard sometimes. I have run to some Spaniards where I feel like, my God, did I offend them? And then I realize it's just the way that they are sometimes. Let's see, what else did I come up with that I notice is different? Let's see, time is different. Time is viewed differently. So in the US, if you tell a friend you're going to meet up with them at 7 p.m., they're probably going to be there at 6:55. Whereas in Spain, if you, or in many other countries, if you say, I'm going to meet up with you at 7 p.m., they may show up 7:30 to 8 o'clock. They don't see this as rude. They see it as they may have been sharing a moment with a family member and they didn't want to cut it short, and they expect you to wait around. That's perfectly normal. Whereas in American United States culture, time is money, so it's seen as you're being rude to me, like you're not respecting my time. I did need to adjust to that overseas. I remember when I was living in Mexico, everyone was late all the time, and there was no apology. There was no, hey, I'm late, because it was more like, hey, what's up? I'm here. And you're like, wait a minute, but you were supposed to be here 30 minutes ago or 1 hour ago. It was hard. It was a hard adjustment for me as somebody who grew up in the US to get used to that sort of culture. So time is different. They don't look at it the same way as they do in the US. Overseas, children and the elderly are everywhere. In the US, you may have a special place for kids only zones at restaurants or cruises or whatever the situation is. Whereas overseas, children are out playing at 11 o'clock at night. They're jumping everywhere. It's just a very different culture. So the elderly are not hidden. They are a part of society. They're getting on buses. They have a special section on buses. They are having dinner, walking all over the city at 11 o'clock at night. And they are a part of society. They are not hidden somewhere in a home. People spend more time outside. Of course, this is a bit of a generalization. I'm currently in the Pacific Northwest and people spend a lot of time outside out here. But people genuinely enjoy connection more overseas. And with that comes spending more time outside. So it's very common to be in Barcelona, Valencia, Sevilla, all these Spanish cities, and people are at 11 o'clock at night. It's like 6 o'clock in the afternoon. They most likely just had dinner, because in Spain they have dinner around 9 or 10 p.m. And they're walking out after dinner. So plazas are full, cafes are full. There's more of a social aspect to being in the outdoors. Money is viewed differently. So in United States culture, United Statians are always after, the way they show the status is a bigger house or a bigger car. They celebrate financial success openly. And it's not necessarily because they are successful, it's because, a lot of United Statians have a lot of debt. So they buy the flashy car or the 6 bedroom house, even though they don't really need it, because it's a success symbol. Whereas money overseas, they view it as flashy, like flashy or almost tacky. They view enjoying life and enjoying a high priced dinner with friends as more beneficial to well being than that fancy car. Driving there is very different. You don't, at least the places I've lived in, you don't really need a car. Everything is within walking distance. So I've noticed, walking to the grocery store, walking to the butcher, the cheese shop, the wine shop, Europeans in general are getting more activity, more physical activity than United Statians are. There's a different mindset around healthcare and vacation time. So in the United States, you're always begging your employer for time off and you hope that they accept it. Time off overseas is it's plentiful. 5, 6 weeks is normal. So people are not struggling for time off. So what this means is, because healthcare and vacation time are guaranteed overseas, many people don't feel that pressure to have two incomes and a side hustle to pay their bills, because they already know that their overall well-being is taken care of by universal health care and by decent work-life balance and time off. And last but not least, aging is viewed differently overseas. So I said this a little bit before. The elderly are everywhere. They are a part of society. They are not hidden. But one of the things that I notice, and of course this varies from country to country, is that aging is seen as a normal part of life, whereas in the United States, let's be honest here, as we age, we don't have necessarily somebody to take care of us, so we do have to think about reverse mortgages or outrageously expensive homes for our loved ones, and it's not affordable for a lot of people. So when I look at coming back to the United States now has been eye-opening because I've had reverse culture shock, but also the realization that I really like it overseas. I really like my life there. I don't need two and three jobs, to survive, whereas life in the United States has become just painfully expensive. And even though it's a wealthier country when it comes to material things, I mean, just looking at the potato chips aisle at the supermarket is impressive. Who knew that there was avocado oil and, fried chicken, potato chips? Who knew? So while overseas has less of a material well being kind of mentality, I do find that overall, people overseas, and I know this is going to be very controversial, they look happier, they look more at peace, they look like there's more living in life and there's less surviving in it. So if you're thinking about moving overseas, realize that it's not a solution to all of your problems. You still take your problems with you, but moving overseas is a big life decision that deserves to be well thought out, and realize that no matter where you go with you. So if this answers any questions, I do help people make these decisions. I do work on a one-to-one session basis. I'm a certified ICF certified big life transitions coach. I have reduced my cost by 70% because my living expenses overseas are significantly less than they are in the United States. So if you've always wanted help with life transitions, whether it's big relationship changes, heartbreak, loss, grief, career changes later in life, I've done all of these things. I don't just help you with it. I've done all of these things. If you could use my help, please check out my website. It's Finally Elaine Care, and I'm happy to help you with any of your big life changes.